Hey everybody, today we're going to do a quick video on this is our Hustler Fastrak SDX. We're going to do a basic tune-up and we're going to do an oil change. We're not going to do the hydros in this video, but if you look in the end screen, there will be a video of doing the hydro service on this same machine. But today, like I said, we're just going to do basic oil change, tune-up, and let's take a look at what we need and how we're going to get it done. This is a pretty beginner video, so there's nothing fancy going on here, but if you are a beginner and you want to do like a DIY thing, work on your own machines, this is the video for you. Thanks. All right, so here we go. It's a little chilly out today. It's, I think, mid-March, so we're trying to get on top of this ahead of time. So we have the door closed. It's a little tight. I'm going to show you what you need to do. Let's get started. So, you know what we can do? We can move this seat out of the way. First, sorry guys. I apologize for the shady camera work. Well, here's what we're gonna do. Down there this is your oil filter. This is the fill. And this little, here we go. This little chrome valve over here, this is gonna be your drain. It's gonna go down. There's a hole in the frame there. You can see it right there, and that's where that'll go through. So we're gonna put a drain pan underneath, and we're going to drain out the oil first, and then we'll remove the oil filter. Let's get going. Okay, so first things first, we have a 10 millimeter. This is how we are going to get the oil draining. We put a bucket underneath, drain, and there goes the wrench. That's how that works. Luckily, there's no oil in the bucket yet. So let's get that loose. Now, on this particular machine, you just loosen this bolt here and it drains right down. It's pretty easy. Hope you can see this. And you just twist this out here, just like that. Some have the hose. I will leave a link in the description for the oil drain hose, because on my other machines, I have the hose on all of them and I like it a lot better. It's just a lot more versatile than this particular type of drain. Makes things easier. All right, now once you get it loose, you just unloosen the cap, and then that's gonna create a little air suction and the oil will drain out. So now we have our oil draining. Let's let that go down. And once it kind of drains all the way out, then we'll loosen the filter. So let's go grab a filter wrench and work on that next. All right, while that's draining, we are going to loosen up. This is our filter wrench. You only need the wrench to remove the filter. It is a little tight on this machine. Some of the other ones are a little easier to get to. This one, you just put it on there. All you need to do is loosen it, really. It's not that big of a deal. And there you go. Now we loosen that up, and that will drain. It is always better if you can have the oil warm. You know, let the engine run 5 or 10 minutes. You don't need it boiling hot because you don't want to burn yourself on the oil. But if the oil is warm, it comes out a lot better. Makes a lot less of lot less time to get it out and to get more of it out. Okay, so now that we've let the oil drain out thoroughly, we got everything out. We're going to first retighten this little drain lock here. You can hand tighten it in, just goes in, and then we'll snug it up, and then we will install the oil filter next. So here, let's give that a good snug tight, and let's go over and check out the filter. All right, so now to prep the new filter, I just take some oil on my finger and I just put some oil right around the gasket, just like that. And then obviously you're going to check the engine side and make sure that it's clean. So let's go reinstall this filter now. All right, here is the area, hard to get into this one, where the filter goes on, that round circle area. So we went down there, we visually checked it out, it's clean, and we're gonna install our new filter on. And real careful when you put it on, just fingertips. It should, look how easy it should spin on. Do not cross thread the filter. Be really careful. If you need to spin it backwards to catch the thread, like push pressure on it, spin it backwards, it'll pop in. And then, like I said, it should spin that easy. Now you do not use the oil filter wrench to install the filter, only to remove it. So make sure the filter is clean, make sure your hand's clean so you get a good grip, and you're gonna hand tighten the filter on. That's it. You do not have to put a wrench on it, plus a wrench can possibly dent it or put a hole in it. You don't want to do that. So hand tighten it, and that's good to go. All right, now we're just gonna put our funnel in here, find whatever spot works good. Don't pour the oil in too fast because sometimes it'll overfill. So just slowly put it in. It's gonna take 2 quarts. Like I said, just slowly pour it in so it doesn't overfill, because otherwise it'll like overfill out of this thing. It'll spill all over the place. And first, you don't want to spill oil. Second, you don't want to spill your new oil, because you need all of the 2 quarts. Okay, now we've installed the 2 quarts of oil. Let's just clean this off. It's a little early, like I said, this year we don't have the water on because this machine could definitely use a power washing. I try to do it like once a year, we power wash them. This one's a little dirty from fall. So now this is for Kawasaki engines. They're all different, but for Kawasaki, it tells you right on it. Do not thread in the dipstick to check the oil mark. You'll see low into the full mark. So when you check the oil, you just put it in, just like that, take it out, and try to get it close to the camera so you can see it here. But as you can see, that's good, right to the full mark. Now you're gonna check it again, obviously, after it's running for about 10 minutes or so. You'll shut it down, let it cool off, and then check it again. But right now we're perfect. So 2 quarts exactly, and you are good to go for the oil part of this. So you drain the oil, make sure you retighten the petcock, switch your filter out, make sure that's on there good, reinstall the oil, 2 quarts and a filter, and that is simply the oil change. It's nice and easy. It's really not hard to do. And now we'll get to the tune-up part of this section. All right, so next we're going to do the air filter. Now, this is the FX model. It has the exterior air filter or tube filter. The FS has the other filter. But for this, we're gonna pull this out. Now, can you blow the filter out with air? Yes. Do we do it? Yes, we do it all the time. Are you supposed to do it? No. But if you're fortunate enough to have compressed air, works really well. Obviously, make sure you have safety glasses on, and you can blow this stuff out like that, and you can blow the filter out. As you can see how bad it is. So, seeing as how this filter is so bad, we are definitely not gonna just blow it out. We're going to replace it. So you just pull this straight out like this, and then there's a pre-filter in here. You're gonna take the pre-filter out also, and we're gonna replace both of these filters. We'll take some compressed air, and we're gonna blow around the housing, not into it. To make sure that that's clean in there. Okay, here's your new filter. Like I said, in the description, I will have all the links to the filters. You can order these separate. We order them as a unit together. It's pretty affordable that way. I do it this way. I put in this filter first. It goes on the interior like that. And then I put this one on this way. Everyone has their own way of doing it. As long as that's in there, you're good to go. You got a brand new filter. Let's see, let's get our cap here. Clean that off. And then you just slide this back on. Your locking clips. Sorry about dancing around this drop light. And there you go. Air filter is done and installed. Next, we are going to do the spark plug. So it's a V-twin. There's one plug here, and you'll see the other rubber boot over here, another plug here. Those are the two plugs. We're gonna pop those out and we're gonna replace them. All right, so let's get the first plug out. First thing you're gonna do is pop the boot off. Boot is the wire. I call it the boot. Sometimes they are a little tricky to get off the first time. There we go. Got that off. Make sure it's good, not cracked. And there's your plug. We use a 13/16 socket. It's a spark plug socket. Make sure you're going the right way. And we're going to spin this out. It should come out by hand. And we're going to remove the other plug. You can do them one at a time if you're more comfortable that way. I'm going to do them both just so we can show you on the bench the comparison of the plugs. Okay, so first thing you do now that you have both of your plugs removed is put them side by side, take a look at them and see what's going on. Are they burning evenly? Is there a lot of carbon buildup? Is one of them wet? These look pretty even. They look like they've been burning good. This is a newer engine too, so, but you want to check those things out and make sure, because if there is a problem or a problem with one of the cylinders, you're going to know by checking out these plugs right here. So got the old plugs out. Let's get our new ones, our new NGK plugs. And here's how we prep them. Take it out. Now, you don't usually have to gap these plugs, but I like to check them. Be very careful when you check them. So my eyes suck, so I have a little mark on there. I know it's 30 thousandths for these Kawasaki engines. So you just put it on here, bring it over to the 30,000 mark. You're good. Do not force it. Do not damage the plug, but you can check it. Now, when we go to reinstall these plugs, you see this little washer? This is what they call a compression washer. You want to squeeze that washer down when you tighten it, and that's a one-time deal. So that seals the plug and keeps it from loosening up. Now, we got our new plugs. Like I said, always double check, make sure it's the right plug. I check the numbers. Everything is in the description, all the links for the plugs and everything you need. Two things when you install a plug, you use, some people, you don't have to use this. I just do because I don't know why. It's anti-seize. You just take a drop of it, you put it on the thread. That way, if your machine is stored outside or you don't have a garage to keep it in, a lot of times they get wet. I just put this on the threads here. Causes any problems. That way this plug doesn't rust or seize up in the cylinder. It makes a big old mess. But now this plug is ready to be reinstalled. Let's go get that done. All right, when you go to reinstall the plug, most important thing is not to strip the plug or cross thread it or whatever you want to use. So very easily, just with your fingertips, get it. You can wiggle it a little bit like that if it's stuck, but do not force the plug. It should, look at my, it just goes that easy. Should not be any force needed to screw that in, especially with the anti-seize on there. Kind of works like a lubricant to make the threads go in easier. So spin it in all the way as far as you can by hand. Then you're going to take your ratchet, and remember I pointed out that compression washer. So we're going to put this on. Now, you threaded it in all the way, just about. Watch, 2 fingers on here. Nice and easy. You'll feel a little tension because it's going in, and then it's going to want to stop. Now, once you get to that, you're going to just go quarter turn, and then you're going to feel it get harder. That means you compressed the washer. It's in there. You give it a little push. Do not over tighten it. You don't have to go crazy, but you do have to make sure you tighten it enough to compress that washer. It sounds more complicated than it is. When you do it, you can feel it. It's pretty easy. This is another precautionary thing. It's called dielectric grease. Maybe you're familiar with it, maybe you're not. So a really good thing to do with this, especially if the machine is outside or it gets wet a lot or you're working in damp thing, you just take a drop of this grease and you put it on the end of the boot, spark plug boot right there. And that's going to make sure that you get good contact. And then you hear that click, and you push that on there, you hear it click, you know it's clicked onto the spark plug correctly. Now we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and put this grease on here while I have it out, because then it's all you do. You just put a drop of it in the boot there. All right, and now I have the other plug prepped, same process. Put it in here. Sorry for my head. Spin it in, nice and easy. Don't force it. Definitely don't strip it, because you make a simple job into a nightmare if you strip out one of the spark plugs. And same deal, it pretty much went in all the way. So look, just nice and easy, 1 finger until you feel it tighten up a little. Now this is the compression gasket part. You just push a little, you'll push a little until it gets a little harder, and then that's it. That means you squeeze the gasket, so you give it a little, that's it, little tiny push, done. Sorry, my socket. This is the boot that makes it, holds the spark plug. Keeps coming out. It's an old socket. All right, and we got that. Now I have grease all over my hand. That was supposed to be in my boot. That fell out. That's okay. Now let's put this one on. You hear it click? That means that's on there. And there you go. You've just replaced the 2 spark plugs. You've done it properly, and you are good to go. Let's move over to the fuel filter. All right, now the fuel filter. Pros and cons to a lot of machines. This particular machine, the fuel filter is a little bit tighter in there, but I'm going to show you exactly where it is and what we have to do to get to it. All right, so this one, like I said, is a little tricky because it goes underneath the frame here. I like to do gloves for these, so I have the hose clamps here. First thing we're gonna do is loosen the upper clamp here. I'm gonna squeeze that and get it off of the hose. There we go. Get that one out of the way. So the way I'm gonna do this is we're gonna remove this upper hose. And that's why I do gloves, because prop it up, it won't spill. Let's try. I have this little clamp, I made it myself. It's just got rubber ends. They do have hose clamps for this, but I'm gonna clamp the fuel hose here, and then I'm gonna send it down here. I'm gonna bring it up over here to make life easier for us. It's the way the seat comes down on this machine, sorry. All right, I'm gonna get our clamp off. Just slide it off with the pliers. And then I'm gonna pull this off, and I should have a rag underneath this because gas is gonna spill. All right, here's our new filter. Now, notice there's an arrow. There it goes, sorry about that. There's an arrow showing you which way the fuel is supposed to flow through it. So make sure when you put it back on, you put it the right way. And the arrow would be from the tank to the engine. That's how that goes. So to reinstall it this way, this is from the tank side. So that's the back of the arrow. We're gonna put that back just like that. Bring our clamp back up here, and that side is good to go. Now we'll fish it back through to where it was over here. Like I said, sometimes pros and cons to different machines. This one's a little challenging for the fuel filter, but it's not the worst. And then here, put that on. If you have a problem with the hoses, you can put a little WD-40 on them so they'll pop on back on the filter easier. I didn't need to, but you can. And then remember, put your clamps back on. Always check your lines, make sure they're not cracked. A lot of these will dry out depending on how close they are to the engine. It gets hot a lot. If they are, then man, replace those hoses. This is a newer machine, so it's not too bad. And then we're gonna set that back down there, and your fuel filter is all set. All right, folks, there you have it. You have a full tune-up and oil change on the engine for this machine. Like I said, this is a DIY thing for kind of beginners. So if you have any questions, please do put them in the comments. We covered all that. And look in the end screen, we will have the full hydro service on this. It's pretty easy on this machine, but we'll have that in there. Now, if you are fortunate enough to have compressed air, it's a really good thing because as you can see, there's a lot of buildup in here, and you see the cooling fans for the hydros. See how they get full of stuff? We try to keep this clean. We're gonna do that, but we're gonna back it out of the shop first before we blow all that out. But you know, when you work on your machine, take a look around, check the wires, check the hoses, make sure everything looks legit. Is there a lot of oil leaking somewhere? You know, like this cap, what's going on with that? Maybe it's loose, probably, because there's a lot of oil coming on there. But check stuff out. Make sure your battery cables are looking good. Look, both in good shape. Not any corrosion on there, because things like that will just cause you problems later. And when you need to cut the lawn, you need to cut the lawn. You don't want to be working on the machine then. So with all that nonsense being said, I hope this helped. Like I said, check out in the end of the video for the end screens. We service all our own equipment, so we have 100 videos on all kinds of maintenance, and if there's something you're looking for, maybe we have it. Otherwise, check out the description for the links for all the products down there. Everything you need to do the job is there. Thank you so much. Peace, everybody.